Good morning. This is Anna Patterson with the North Carolina Housing Coalition. Thank you for joining us this morning for our housing call. And without further ado, I will turn it over to our Director of Housing Policy, Stephanie Watkins Cruz.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are having a great week so far. We're going to have a bit of an abbreviated housing call today. It is a busy, busy week for us, and it's a heavy housing week. So, kicking it off, just want to let folks know tomorrow is our housing day at the General Assembly in downtown Raleigh. Over 150 housing advocates and practitioners from across the state will be participating. We're having over 100 meetings with different members of the General Assembly to make housing a top priority for our elected officials as they continue to develop our state's 2-year budget, as well as pass legislation related to our legislative priorities for the rest of the year. And we're really excited to see many of you, some of you for the first time, and to see some of you again to reconnect. So we wish you safe travels for those of you who will be traveling today to join us tomorrow at the General Assembly. If you're unable to join us for Housing Day, please don't worry. You are more than welcome to engage with your elected officials at any point. So give them a call, send them an email, let them know what you're concerned about, what you're excited about, what you really want to make sure that they're focusing on. Moving on to state updates, since it's a state focused week, I want to go ahead and just list this really crazy stat that we now have. There have been over 1,500 bills that have been filed since January. We are not tracking all 1,500 of them, but quite a few of them are housing related in some way, shape, or form, whether they talk about property taxes or they talk about homelessness or community development. They might talk about land use, disaster recovery. So the field is very, very wide and varied, and it's a busy, busy time of year. If you would like to see which bills that we're tracking, we have a link to our bill tracker in the call notes for you. And then if you're familiar with our 2025 to 2026 policy agenda, there's a link to that in the call notes. And then in the coming weeks, as we kind of get to a slowing point, we'll release a summary about what bills have been filed, acted on, and kind of where they fall in relation to our priorities and some analysis on the potential impacts. There's something in particular that I do want to lift up today as part of this abbreviated call, and it is something that's really important for us to bring attention to. This one bill that was filed last week that we want to spend some time going over is House Bill 781. This bill is titled Unauthorized Public Camping and Sleeping. So we knew this was coming, particularly after last year's Supreme Court ruling. This is an anti-camping bill, and it is likely backed by the Cicero Institute out of Texas, and it was filed late last week. It's co-sponsored by 4 different representatives: Representative Brian Biggs, Representative Neil Jackson, Representative Jennifer Balcom, and Representative Mike Schnitzel, representing different parts of Randolph, Moore, Henderson, and Wake counties. Some context around Cicero is the Cicero Institute for the last several years has been behind bills that have been popping up across the country that ultimately seek to criminalize homelessness. Our partners at the National Low Income Housing Coalition have a great resource that we'll link in the call notes for you that explains and breaks down really clearly why bills like this are actually counterproductive and they're harmful. House Bill 781 would actually prohibit local governments in North Carolina from allowing people to sleep on public property and in public right of ways. This bill does allow local governments to approve by majority vote a specific local government owned property to be used for up to 1 year for camping if they are able to meet conditions such as access to running water and restrooms, prohibiting alcohol and drugs. And this is under the logic here is to ensure that the safety of the property and those camping there, but also they have a clause in the bill stipulating that there must be coordination with the county DSS to provide mental health and substance abuse resources. And these locations have to be certified. And in doing so, the local government must attest to a number of conditions, including that there aren't enough shelter beds available. Really, what we want to pull out here is, again, the criminalization of homelessness, even if unintentional, um, really is not actually addressing the problem. We need to be focusing on proven solutions that meet the scale of the need rather than on outdated and ineffective policies that are actually much more expensive, and do not address the root of the problem, which is access to safe, clean, and affordable housing. In the coming weeks, we'll be focusing on this a bit more. These bills are coming up this week in committee, and so we will be kind of going back and forth between Housing Day things and also watching committees and watching their movement. But we want to make sure that you have the resources you need if you are interested in learning more about this topic and more about a lot of the research and studies that exist around what the danger is around criminalizing homelessness and why it is actually a pretty ineffective way to address homelessness. So, if you're interested in learning more about the messaging and advocacy around this, there is a website called Housing Not Handcuffs. And this website provides toolboxes for communicating and advocating against this harmful types of legislation. This website also includes a threat tracker map, which is tracking all the different state level homelessness criminalization bills across the United States. I really just want to re-emphasize there are proven solutions to homelessness, and the number one proven solution is housing. What we know is that when homelessness is criminalized, it essentially not only causes additional hardship and instability for people experiencing homelessness, but it makes it quite challenging for folks to transition out of homelessness and creates longer term issues. And if you're of the mind where you're concerned about taxpayer dollars and resources, it's much more expensive to jail and imprison and arrest people who are experiencing homelessness or even treat people in the ER that might be experiencing some sort of health crisis or mental health crisis. It's much more expensive when you look at the cost of those services on taxpayers and then on public dollars and even on private dollars when you compare that to what it would cost to house people in safe, quality, affordable housing that they can afford, that they can be in, that they can restabilize and kind of re-enter kind of a normal, healthy quality of life in. So that is that framing there. We have links to not only the toolboxes from Housing Not Handcuffs, we have a link to the bill itself. There's a threat tracker map that I think folks will find really interesting. And we have our bill tracker in the call notes for you this week. We have it in there every week. We try and make sure that it's up to date every 2 weeks or so, especially as we're kind of deep in this series of bills updating kind of mode that we're in right now. Again, over 1,500 bills have been filed, so there's quite a bit to go through. The link to House Bill 781 is also in the call notes, and we're going to continue to keep an eye on it and continue to provide you all resources so that you can see kind of the full train of thought here, and why we know that housing is health, why we know that housing needs to be treated like a human right and a basic fundamental human need. There are a lot of reports and resources that we'll have in the call notes for you to check out. Again, we are geared up and ready and continue to kind of just get it really pump ourselves up for Housing Day tomorrow. We have an event tonight as well, and just really looking forward to seeing folks from across the state. It's been really actually rewarding to see the variety of people that are registered and signed up for these events this week. And I think it's really telling. Just to give you a range, we have everyone from local government, we have some cities represented, we have regional kind of coalitions, we have a regional council of governments, we also have several service providers, we have several developers, and we have several advocates from the building side, from the homelessness services side, and more. And so I think it's just a real testament to our ecosystem and how critical we know that this moment is. And with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. If you are coming tonight or tomorrow, I can't wait to see you. Make sure that you say hi, and we will talk to you next time.